Just turning down my volume and getting my tablet pulled up. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday night. Let me get my tablet pulled up here so I can see my screen. Just kind of getting some things ready here. All right, I got my chat up. Have the volumes down, okay. How are y'all tonight? Move my cord out of the way here. I was just gonna re-ink my die. Oops. Ooh, there, see, turn my volume way down. There we go. I'm just gonna re-ink my embossing pad here. I'm almost out of re-inker. I think I bought another one not too long ago, but just gonna use up whatever's left in here and squirt it in. Normally I put an X in and some wiggles, squiggles and this and that, but I don't have a lot of re-inker left in this one. I think this is my first re-inker I ever bought, so I've had it for quite a while. Gonna do some embossing tonight, and then I like to take a spoon and kind of just rub it in a little bit, help break up. I do this with all my ink pads, just kind of rub it in. It helps it kind of absorb a little faster. I don't know if that's the right way, but that's what I do. So I first tonight, let me switch this over to live chat. All messages, there we go. I'm going to start with, we're going to use the puddle jumper dies tonight. And what I like to do is I have mine on a piece of just magnet that I get off online. It has adhesive on the back, and I stick it on the back, and then I have them stuck on here just kind of willy-nilly. I haven't really put them back on since I did that. Hi Darren. And then I have a piece of Velcro, adhesive Velcro that I just got at a box store, you know, big store that I keep them in. And now I've actually gone to also saving them, because sometimes my magnets aren't the best, into pouches like this. Hi Shannon. So I thought I'd show you that, but we're going to use that tonight. I did die cut most everything out ahead of time and did some glazing ahead of time, so you wouldn't have to wait for that to dry, but I wanted to show you that. And then to start, we're going to go ahead and use the stencil of the month. And I have a little pixie spray on the back of this one, and so I'm actually going to use it upside down because I want to emboss on this black. Well, maybe I don't want to emboss on the black. Actually, we're going to change this. We are going to emboss on the white because I think I want the smaller one. Yes, because I already have the boots kind of cut out and I want to make sure they stand out. So I've got my embossing ink pad here, and when I use an embossing pad with a stencil, I like to use like a Ranger tool to pounce, or even push my ink pad in and then pounce. So first I'm going to treat my panel here. I want to make my screen a little bigger so I see what I'm doing here. With an anti-static powder tool. Just because. But because I have some pixie spray in the back, sometimes that can leave some residue behind that will stick to the paper and cause some extra embossing powder stickiness, which would be fine in this case because we're kind of creating a rain card. But I'm going to just go ahead and flip it upside down without the embossing powder, and then, or with the stickiness up. Just use it this other way. And I'm literally just going to pounce this on. We're going to use the fairy dust. I've been using that a lot lately. Just because, and I really wanted a very neutral background so that my die cuts stand out. Like I said, this doesn't have to be, you know, I kind of twist it, but I mostly just pounce it. And then I'm going to go ahead and shift this right up here and go ahead and pounce it some more so we get a few more drops up here. I hope everybody's having a great week. We are, you know, halfway through. Of course, tomorrow I'm supposed to be in a winter storm watch starting at noon through 6 a.m. on Friday, so we'll see how that is. And of course, you know, the weatherman, 5 to 9 inches of snow. So we'll see what happens. But okay, so then I've got my fairy dust here, which is clear, a clearer one with a little bit of sparkle on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this on. We may add a little color to the background after, but we'll see what it looks like first, see if we need to add anything. So I've got 2 cards, but the one card I kind of have a lot of it already pre-done. So I do see that I heat set this, but I have a couple of spots. When we heat set this, we have a couple of spots that I didn't get a lot of the embossing ink, but we can go in and fill that in. So let's grab my embossing gun quick. I apologize if you can hear my dog outside. He's outside, but he must have somebody in the neighborhood barking at, or a dog. But he's right outside my craft window. So, all right, let's quick set this. I'm just gonna let this heat up so I can't touch it. And I don't know if you're gonna see this very well because it's white, kind of clear on white, but you'll see the sparkle afterwards. Kind of, it goes from a dull matte to a shiny finish, and that's how I know it's finished. It's melted. And I just keep it moving around. Like I said, a rainstorm isn't perfect, so if I have not perfect raindrops, it would be fine. I just want to make sure I get wherever I have the embossing powder that it's set. Alright, here. Looks pretty good. I may add some more after a few minutes, but I think for right now we're just going to leave it until we get everything set up. So, I will tell you that spring is definitely on its way, and I can tell you that because one of the first major things of spring happened this week, and that is the first barge went up the Mississippi River, and that is always a telltale sign that spring is here. And I have a couple girlfriends up in Minnesota that said they saw robins, so, you know, that is usually another sign, right? I haven't seen any robins yet, but I haven't really looked. So we'll see. Okay, so we've got our backdrop here, and like I said, I know there's a bunch of spots here. I don't know if we're going to add some more to it or not. We'll wait and see. Let me get further. So I went ahead and die cut, and we're going to make the boot. And where did I put the dies? So I can show you what we used. So I went ahead and I die cut out this boot, the backdrop of the boot here, this one, out of black scrap cardstock. And we're making a rainbow set of boots. And then I cut this one, which lays on top of it, from scrap patterned paper. Because we all have scrap paper around, and I thought this is the perfect way to use some of this up. So I have them cut out, and I did glue a bunch of them together already. But I thought I'd show you here. I've got one left here. And I will say, if you wanted a pair of boots, you can flip them around so that, you know, you could have them lined up and have two, you know, a pair of boots. I did do that for a card coming up, but for tonight I just used all the same boots. And we're just going to go ahead and I just put a little liquid glue, and I like liquid glue because then I have a chance to move it around. And line it up perfect. And got that on here. And there we go. We've got our blue striped boot. Oops, I moved it just a little bit. It's going to take just a minute to dry because it is liquid glue. But it doesn't take too long. So we've got our boots. And of course, I am crazy about slimline and mini slimline cards. Those are my favorite kind of cards to make. We're making 2 slimline cards tonight. And here we go. We've got our boots. We got our red, and this has got red and pink, orange, yellow, green. Oh, thank you, Mackie. This is just scrap paper that I went through, and I tried to stay kind of around the same colors, you know, like not super dark or super bright, and I wanted weird patterns and tried to find all sorts of different patterns. I mean, I know we got a couple stripes. I have them going to different ways, and these are a couple different checks, but they're different. I didn't get this one quite perfect, so I'm going to trim just a little bit off. You could totally go ahead and still decorate these with some of the extra embellishments that came with us, the frog and the lightning bolt, but I kind of wanted to leave this. So I've got this with my background. I think we're going to go ahead and mat it on a black piece. You know, so we have that. And then for a sentiment, I really didn't know what I wanted to use for sure. I didn't necessarily want to use Happy Spring. So I dove deep down into my stash and I pulled a variety of Brutus Monroe stamps out. Some of them are retired, some of them are not, but I wanted just to say, you know, sometimes when you're thinking about a sentiment, you know, here for you, which I think, and this was the Bunches of Love stamp set. You know, of course, there's Spring Greetings from the Bunny Love or Hello Friend from the Follow Norm. Those are the first ones I picked out. But last month's Mushroom Garden has that You Brighten My Day, and I thought that would be kind of fun for that. And then I pulled out a couple of this was from last year's spring release, and I think some of them might be still in the clearance section, but there's Wishing You Brighter Days and You Brighten My Day again. I'm thinking about maybe Wishing You Brighter Days, but I also just kind of went through and found, you know, I've got Filled with Sunshine and Rainbows, Use Sprinkle Magic Wherever You Go, which I thought was kind of fun because, you know, you could sprinkle some more glitter on it and make it like magical. But I also thought Hope Your Day Makes a Splash. And this is from the Underwater Friend set. And I thought this would be fun because they're boots. And when you wear boots, you go for a splash. And then, of course, we have the Sentimental Spring set that has Spring in My Step. And, or You Are the Spring in My Step, you could say, which is a fun card to say. Or, you know, Spring in the Moment and Spring Ahead, things like that. But I might save this Hope Your Day Makes a Splash for our second card. I'm thinking I'm going to lean towards this You Are the Spring in My Step. So we're going to go ahead and grab this out. And I want to, I'm going to grab this, we're going to stamp it out and we'll die cut it out here. Because this is, you know, boots, and then you have the You Are the Spring in My Step. So sometimes you just, you know, you can use your new stuff with something you might have just had or you might already have. It's sometimes the perfect way to refresh in a stamp set or that you've had for a while, or to add more longevity to your stash. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put down on my background. And like I said, we may put a little bit of color on it, but I'm thinking I might like to leave it just because I'm trying to embrace more white space on my cards and have the focal point be something else. I'm going to leave a black border on both sides and have it go all the way to the end. It might not have it perfect. We will kind of trim it to make it perfect. I can't always get stuff straight. I'm always kind of wonky when it comes to straight lines. So I'll just line up. I'm going to line up the bottom edge, which you can't see because it's off camera. I can't get it up. And just move it up a little bit, and it will just take off that last little bit of edge there. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm lining up the bottom edge up here, making sure it's straight on my die cut machine. or on my cutter, and then when I trim it off, I've got a straight edge. So, okay, so we've got that, and then we need some, that is for my next stamps. Yeah, we'll use that one. I will use this one. This is just some white scrap from when I cut down my cardstocks. I always keep them, you know, just handy for slimline cards. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment out. We'll get going. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, Mackie, I can't, if you give me a ruler, I am lucky if I can draw a straight line. I'm horrible at it. I really am horrible at straight lines. I have the, you know, the glass mat, and I have the ruler that goes across from it to help you maybe with my sentiments, but it is like my worst thing. I watch people cut with scissors, and I just think, how do you do that? You're awesome. We may fussy cut these out, even though it's not my favorite thing to do, but, so I think I'm just gonna stamp them all down. We're gonna just stamp them with some Raven Detail ink, and if I can find my ink pad. I've been creating up a storm here, so I've got stuff all over. I've got chroma glazes and velveteen glazes and glitter glazes, and last night I tried to do a lot of prep ahead of time with the glazes, so we didn't have time to wait for it to dry. And same with die cuts. Okay, bring them a step. And this stamp set was part of the Create Your Own Ending event last year, and I do know it was available. I'm not sure if it's still in stock. I did not check beforehand. I did not have time, so I apologize if it's not. But you could totally use, there's dies that come in with this stamp set, or this die set that's a Happy Spring, and You Are My Sunshine. I've used them a little bit already, so I'm trying to, on a couple of cards, so I'm trying to, you know, branch out and show different ways to use this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my favorite squeaky clean, which is the Cinnamon Hearts. I hoard this one because I love this one so much. And just wipe off my stamps, just so they're not too, you know, they get a little stained from the Raven detailing, but that's okay, they still work. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull them off and stick them back. I've been trying to do better about doing that, so. All right, got that done here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure it's good and set. Sometimes I push them in pretty hard. I'll cut this down here first. I will smear them because I wait just not quite long enough, especially if I stamp them multiple times and kind of oversaturate them, or if my ink pad's really juicy. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Excuse me for a second. Hi, Kathy. How are you tonight? We're making a couple of spring cards using the die of the month. Hold my little cutter here. I'm doing okay. I had a little bit of a cold earlier this week. I went home from work earlier, and mostly just because I'm tired. I was tired, but I've slept good. I got a little bit of the sneezies, but I'm doing okay. I'm feeling much better. And it's Wednesday, and Thursday's right around the corner, and then obviously Friday, and then Saturday is the garden party, which I did sign up for. My stuff is supposed to be here Saturday, I hope. Usually UPS is always, or the post office is always a day early with my stamps, but my orders, but that's okay, Mom. If you can't talk, that's all right. Thanks for watching, Mom. It happens sometimes. Maybe you need an update. So here's our background we created. Like I said, it has the sparkle fairy dust raindrops from the stencil of the month. And then we've got our boots, which we're going to get on before we do our sentiment. Uh-oh, where did a couple of our boots go? Oh, yeah, there. I pushed them up there. And our green, blue, purple. We got this. We got to set on our sentiments. Let's quick do that. Like I said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to use my die cut machine. You got your stuff today, Mackie? Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait to see. I'm excited to see what's all in it. Thanks, Kathy. They're just some scrap papers that it had in my stash. I have so many scraps. It's not even funny. And this year, the last year and a half, my goal has been to use up scraps before any big pieces of paper. You know, obviously when you're using full sheets, like for a panel, you might have to cut one down, but I'm just going to go ahead and line this up. Let's see if we can get this cut. I'm sorry if I'm off screen a little bit. I like to use the bottom of my trimmer. And of course, I just moved it. And we'll get this cut down. I think we're going to cut it down quite a bit more yet. There we go. That looks better. That looks a little better. Sounds like, yeah, Mom, we won't talk about your fabric stash. And I didn't even have to help you move it. I just saw the pictures. So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit. I'm going to do that at a wonky angle, so I'm not going to worry about if it's perfect. I'm getting better with scraps of paper, not saving every little bit, but I have to be able to cut out, if I can cut a sentiment out of it, or at least a decent size, like heart or star, I save it, but I don't save every scrap anymore. And then, except in my specialty cardstocks, like my glitter stock, if I can cut out a little tiny heart, I have some tiny, tiny heart dies in my stash, I will save that, because sometimes you just need that little bit of a sentiment or a little heart, and that you can get that out of there. So I do save that out of my like my glitter stock, my gold paper, things like that. Okay, so we've got the sentiments. Well, let's get, like, we're gonna get this cut down here and put down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boots. So our center boots will be our green and our yellow. And I think we're going to do, okay, so we'll put flat, pop up, flat, pop up, flat, pop up. So we're going to flatten this one. So we're going to go ahead and put this one down first. And I'm just going to put them at kind of a wonky angle, you know, so that they're kind of walking and springing and this and that. So we're going to put that one down, and that one's going to kind of overlap here. So we'll get these ones down. We'll get all these down, and then we'll throw some pop-ups. Let's see here. I'm going to make that one kind of up like this, and then we'll put this guy over the top, or we can put him up a little higher, a little lower. We're going to pop him up. Okay. And then green's getting popped up, so we need to do blue, and then we're going to pop up the purple one here. All right, and then let's put this guy up like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab, and I have some of the Easy Tab in the black. I actually haven't used these in a long time. I've had them for a while, and I forgot about them. And I pulled them out last night, and I thought this would be a good time to use them since I'm using black. I have black paper. I love the little Easy Tabs because you can just pull off the tab. And I'm going to use this partial one right here on this boot part. Go ahead and stick them all down first. And then we'll get our sentiment and stick it down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. Not quite half, but half enough. Maggie, have you done a Brutus Monroe event lately, or is this the first one I know this is the first one since you've just joined the design team. I just didn't know if have you been doing any virtual events? Just curious, you know, like I've been doing a few of my favorite companies and virtual or events, but not all of them. I am looking forward to some in-person events again too, because I just think that's the best part, is seeing people and visiting with people. I think we're gonna put that one straight on. Like I said, I'm excited for the garden party class, and florals are one of my things I don't do the very best. I did one this summer. Yes. Yep. Okay. Yep. In person is very fun, except that I don't get any sleep, of course, and which is fine. All right, so we got our background. So we didn't even really need to add any more of those extra rainbow or raindrops because it's background. So now we're just going to go ahead and put, and I think you are the spring. I think we're going to do it like this, and then like this in my step. So we need a little pop dot. We're going to cut this in half. And we'll pop up the side. And we got to pop up this side. And we need one for spring, but I think I can use a bigger one. Hi, Tina. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying I love the month releases, and it's been fun. I have a scrapbook idea planned for this, and I was thinking about doing that tonight, and I changed my mind because I just wasn't quite ready for it yet. And these pop dots, these are from Brutus Monroe. They're the Easy Tab Black. I'm not sure if the small ones are in stock. I will link them tomorrow in the comments, but they have the Easy Tab. They have black and white. I don't know if the black ones are in stock right now, but the white ones, they sell out sometimes fast. I'll have to look. And they come in different bundles. I think if you Easy Tab, I think that's Easy Tab Pop Dots or Easy Tab Phone Tabs. I know it's Easy Tab. So I'm gonna go, you are, let's do it this way, because you are we're gonna put spring as close to straight as we can. I don't have that handy right now, but I thought Christopher said they came in last week. Thank you. I don't always make cards with people in mind, so sometimes I just try to use, for me, what I like to do is I try to use cards that can inspire someone to use, or have people think outside the box, what can they use their stuff for. Using up, like I said, scraps, because we always have scraps in our stash, mixing it in with something we might already have in our stash. You know, not everyone can get everything all the time, so sometimes if they get, you know, just we're going to do this one this way. You know, if you just get one of the subscription, like the die of the month, here's a good way you can mix it up with something you might have had in your stash, plus some scraps. Where did I get the sentiment? I'm sorry, Tina. Yes, it is from Sentimental Spring. It was part of the Create Your Own Ending event last August. I did not check to see if it was in stock, but the spring is, you know, has all these little words in it. Like I said, I will link tomorrow, because I changed my mind about my sentiments when I got home tonight. Anything that's in stock or something that's very similar. But I definitely encourage you to go through your stash and see if you can find something that would work. And I liked that it was kind of just, you know, this is a spring card and it's all boots. So we do need to put this on a card base, but we will do that at the end, because that you guys know how to do. So my next card, I did cheat. I did also use scraps. And I'm not gonna, I don't want to reveal everything right away. So this is the piece of cardstock I have. This, I do not know where this cardstock is. It is a scrap piece that I found in my bin, and I thought it's perfect. for this. I really, really wanted to use the stencil of the month on a colored piece of cardstock. So I grabbed the Puddle Jumper stencil of the month. I did use, that's why I have pixie spray on it. And I used the Hyacinth Glitter Glaze because I wanted to use something that was blue. And I went ahead and I already made the background last night so it dried. So I just lined it up because I wanted the smaller puddle, or I guess it's the medium sized puddle, and then you got the larger puddle kind of here. And I laid it up. I want to be careful because there's some, it's not clean. And then once I let it dry, I just moved the stencil up and I masked off this area and I did some more raindrops. So this is our backdrop. And I really like how the glitter, the hyacinth can be a little bit translucent and you get that blue. Like if it's on white, you can sometimes see the white below. And I thought, well, usually when it's raining, it's not necessarily a white out type day. So I thought it'd be fun to add this too. And then we're gonna go ahead and add it onto a white panel and card base. And then I cut the umbrella pieces. So I cut this piece out of black cardstock scraps and I used the handle and the umbrella piece. And I cut them out of, I just went to the warm side of the rainbow, red, orange, and yellow. I totally just grabbed some cardstock from our stash. And so I have these rainbow pieces, which would be totally cute, just like this, to be honest with you. And I noticed I even have a little bit of a corner cut out. So we're going to put these on here, kind of higher, might pop them up on our thing. And I already added and glued the color on the bottom. I left those just plain. And then I went through my stash of stencils. And this is just a dotted stencil, and I wanted these to dry ahead of time. And I went ahead and I just laid a stencil down with dots that had, and I used the Galaxy Glitter Glaze. So I don't know if you can see that. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on here. We'll start with that one. We'll do them one at a time here. And then I'll show them to you. And all I did is I went through all of my stencils and I looked for anything that might have a fun pattern to make a very fun umbrella, because umbrellas can be a blast. So what the scrapbook page I'm going to work on is, my daughter was on the dance team in high school, and they would do a prop routine. They were known for their prop routines at their state competition. And they decided every year they did a mom and daughter dance and a dad and daughter dance and a co-ed dance, and they danced with the elementary kids, the middle school kids. I think that's it. And my daughter's freshman year, they decided to do a prop with the mother-daughter dance. And so we danced with umbrellas. And it was really fun to see everybody's umbrellas. I literally just went to our dollar store and bought the cheapest umbrellas, which was a good thing because they broke. And the first one's broke in practice. And then, you know, I fortunately had bought a third one, so we had a backup. And so that's what I thought was fun. So for my orange one, I have the names of these. I've got the Blanket of Blooms stencil, and I just went ahead and I stenciled that on with the Cherry Tomato Velveteen Glaze. I went with glitter, velveteen, and chroma glazes. So I did one of each so that you could show off all of the different ones. I just laid this on and went it through, and I wanted to have high contrast with them umbrellas. You know, with the patterns, just because, you know, it's going to be rainy in the spring, you know, especially if you had a gloomy winter, like my mom has had so much snow, you know, and then if you have a rainy spring, you got to have some fun umbrellas and raincoats and things like that. So, so I wanted to do like big contrast colors, and I thought I liked the polka dots on the red. It kind of reminded me of ladybugs. So we've got this one, and we might put these all in the same direction. And then for my yellow, I actually, oh, this was the chroma glaze. I'm sorry. I did not use the Cherry Tomato chroma glaze. I actually used, it's funny, it's the pink flam, it is, no. This is actually the purple chroma glaze, because I know I chose it, but it looks kind of a red color, but that's because the purple and orange colors mixed, but you know, it's the purple chroma glaze. I wanted the shine. And then for the yellow umbrella, I used the Starry Night stencil. And I just lined it up somewhere on there so that I could, and I used the teal taffy velveteen glaze. And thought that made such a fun kind of thing. I just went through, like I said, and I pulled out my stash of glazes and started looking at the colors that I had grabbed and thought, what would be fun? And I wanted very, you know, I wanted very distinct patterns. So you could have put the pattern on the handle too, but I thought it would just leave the handle as plain. That's a nice little pop of color. So there we've got our umbrellas. Like I said, I'm not sure. Might do them this way, like this. I think that's probably what we're doing. I think we're going to pop them up. I'm going to pop up the top part. And here's where I thought I would grab my old stamp set, that older mermaid set, and use that Hope Your Day Makes a Splash, because this is a splash in the puddle, and we'll make sure that puddle is seen when we do that. So let's go ahead and get these put down. I want to put this on, I do want to get this on my card base first, because once I pop it up, it'll be hard to put on there. So I just have some of these are my favorite, thank you, Mackie, the slimline card bases. I was debating about doing the same thing with the pattern paper, which you could totally do. I think actually a member of the design team, I don't know who, and I both used the same spring yellow paper with our umbrellas on our cards that are coming up. But this is the slimline card base. They are not pre-scored, and I actually just learned this. I wasn't sure, I didn't know this till Christopher said it the other day, that if you score it this way, you have your slimline card, but if you score it this way, you can make a mini slim card. And that, I never thought about that before. So I really like the card bases from them. Oh, stuff you ordered. That's fun though. What did you order? Neon props. Yes. You know, I was very fortunate. My daughter's dance team in high school, she had an amazing coach, and 3 of the 4 years she was on the dance team, in 3 or 4 years of high school, they actually won state. The second year, I think they placed second. And so props was one thing that they were very, very popular with. Okay, so here's why I cut this. It's just cut down quite narrowly. So but I think I might leave it because I don't know if I have anything that would work. You know what? I think I have another piece of black. Let's grab another black. This is just some scrap cardstock, and we'll cut it down so it gives it a black mirror. Yeah, she was very, very fortunate. So the first year she was on the dance team, and my daughter teaches dance now, ballroom dancing, actually. She's at a competition right now with her dance studio that she works at. The first year they did it, they wore like gingham outfits and cowboy hats, and had fences, and they were red, and white, and they danced with fences, and it was so nerve-wracking, but it was so amazing. I was so excited for her. And she's really good at it. And then the second year, they wore Catholic schoolgirl uniforms, and they used old desks from the Catholic school in town. And they had like ties and plaid skirts and white shirts. And they had to carry these desks. It was an awesome routine because those desks were heavy. You know, they had them over their head. They danced around with them. They carried them. You know, they moved them around. But it was just one of those routines that somebody else was just a little better. And then the next year, they actually pulled out an old routine of ours, and they were anchors. And they were like teeter-totter anchors. And so they would rock back and forth, and 2 girls with each one. And it was very difficult because when they would stop them, the girls had to stop them at the exact same time. When they do prop routines, that all had to look the same. It was really good. One of these days I want to scrap some of those with some of the other products that we have, because I think there's an old anchor stamp set or stencil, and it went over really well. They looked kind of like Popeye with their little red, white, and blue outfits and stuff. And then the last year they went crazy and did something. We always had big props, and that they did is they wore these like teal kind of, they almost look like latex bodysuits, but you didn't see those right away because they were wrapped up in this pink chiffon, like almost like towels is what they look like. And they ended up being, they were butterflies, and they had these amazing wings, and they won a special award that year for that one. So that's a long story, but anyway, so props was a very big part of my daughter's life and dance, and they just had a lot of fun with them. So I really excited to see this umbrella set and get that cut out. I'm gonna make matching umbrellas. We did a camouflage black umbrellas, or animal print black umbrellas. So all right, so we've got this. We're gonna pop these up on pop dots, and it's the last couple of months we've had some of the dies have just made me excited to scrapbook again too, because I haven't done a lot of scrapbooking. I've been mostly focusing on card making. They're wonderful memories. It was actually 7 years ago this week she performed for the very, very last time at the state basketball tournament. It just came up on my Facebook memories the other day. So, and now she dances for a living. So, lots of fun memories. Okay, so I'm just going to pop up the top part. We're going to leave these parts. We're going to glue those parts down. And that adds just a little bit of dimension to, what did I do, the orange one first, to the front of it, in the middle of the card, and then, but yet the handle will be flat to the card. Oops, I glued this one down with the tab. So it's easy tab, but I glued the tab down underneath. All right, let's see if I can get it loose, get it out of there. All right, let's grab one of my sticks here. Oh my goodness, easy tab, but not when you glue the tab down. The joys of lives, right? All right, there we go. How are we doing on time? Not too bad. I'm glad I did do some of this ahead of time, so we wouldn't have been out. So I'm going to just lay these kind of, I want this one this way. We're going to put this one this way. And I do kind of want that splash to be seen. So let's do this one this way. We'll do it this way. Okay. Yep. So we got our umbrella that way. And I did not put little glue bits down. I think you'd be fine, but I am going to just put a little bit of glue on the handle so it doesn't get caught like in mail or something like that. And then we'll go ahead and get these other two down. We'll get a sentiment popped on here. I think somewhere in my stash, I know I do, the great, you can use these for get well cards or sympathy cards, encouragement cards. I know in my stash somewhere I have a sentiment that says you can weather any storm, or we can weather any storm, or something like that, and that would be perfect to use with with these, umbrellas and the raindrops and things like that. All right, we got that and that. I liked the contrast of the black of the umbrella with the bright colors, and like I said, I chose to try to do just the warm side of the rainbow this time, because you don't always have to do a full rainbow, especially with bigger pieces like that. Okay, so we've got this, and then we got lots and lots of You know, you can see the difference between the velveteen glaze here. It's a matte finish, the chroma glaze, which is a shiny finish, and then of course you got the glitter and the glitter glaze, and then the background has that glitter glaze. Now, I think what we're gonna do is, this is not something that I am super great at, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna white heat emboss the sentiment. I do not have the best of luck with that because I never use enough anti-static powder tool. That's part of it. All right, cut a piece of this down. And we're gonna anti-static powder tool this a lot. And then one tip that I like for me is I use the alabaster pigment ink with the alabaster white embossing powder. All right. Lots of powder there so we can get that done. I'm gonna blow it off just a smidge and find my ink. My alabaster pad, where did I put that? I think I was cleaning my desk the other day for something and I moved it. I moved it to a new drawer. Here it is. So that was a little bit easier to reach. I don't use my white one quite as much. All right. It's very juicy, so I'm trying to not get over juiced. Then we're just gonna kind of tap it. Look and see how we did. We need to tap it a little bit more. All right, let's do it again. That's not too bad. I want to get my splash just a little bit better here. All right, and then we'll just put that aside. I'll clean that up in a little bit. We'll grab our alabaster. An alabaster sparkle would be great here too, but I think that's on the other side of the room, so I'm just going to use the regular alabaster. And I grab my spoon. Here we go. And I have found that if I use the white alabaster pigment powder and with the white embossing powder, I get a little bit crisper sentiment. Oh, there was 2 pieces of paper there. Let's get rid of that. That's not too bad, actually. I think I got one little extra dot there by the H, but it will make it work. We're going to let that cool off a little bit, and then I'm going to grab some circle dies. Got the foundation dies here. I think this one will cut out this perfectly. Let's cut this down a little bit. It fits through my little machine here. And look, see? Yes, I do too. I haven't used it as much because I've been loving the fairy dust and I've been loving the icicle, but I do like the alabaster. It's great. Shannon, you're right. Okay, I'm kind of letting that dry just a little, cool off just a little bit more. All right, and then we're going to go through and wipe off the black. It's not super dark like the other black piece we had because it's a little bit different cardstock, but all right, we got that cut out and we got to figure out where we're going to put it. I know that if you place an order right now, I'm not sure how long it lasts because I didn't look at that. There is a free stamp set, a happy birthday stamp set that is with purchase, a shippable purchase of $25, I think. Very cute. I've used it a few times with some birthday cards. It's a fun set to have. And then I know they added some new things to the clearance section. So if you guys want to check all that out in the store. And then we had some restocks. You know, Mackie, I learned that from somebody else where they talked about it and it it makes a little bit of it, it just makes it just because, sometimes you don't fill it deep enough, and white can, especially in black cardstock, sometimes won't pop as much. Does that make sense? Or I tap off too much of it, and so it's a little bit opaque, and so it's not as, so I found if I use the white, thanks Shannon, if I use the white alabaster or the white ink with the white alabaster, alabaster ink with the alabaster embossing powder, I get a sharper, crisper, as long as I make sure I use a lot of anti-static powder to keep the extra away. All right, we're going to throw a few more dots down. I've had these for a long time actually, and I kind of forgot about using them. And then I wanted to pop something up the other day, and it was the perfect size. I've been slowly going through and getting rid of stuff I've had in my stash for years, and not being afraid, no hoarding stuff. Okay, so we've got our splash down here. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop this. I know it's going to cover up some of our umbrella here, but I think we'll stick it in maybe here. Let's see, did I stick that down enough? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to let it hang over just a little bit. All right, so, and it's just a little bit off the edge, so I think I actually am going to cut it off. This would fit still in a business envelope, so I would not have had to do that, but I'm going to just finish that off a little bit. So there we go. That is card number 2. The other card I don't have on a card base yet. I will quickly do that. So here's our 2 cards we made tonight. I'm using the Puddle Jumper dies and some scrap cardstock. We used glitter glaze, velveteen glaze, chroma glaze, fairy dust embossing powder, stamp set for my stash. Taxi Mom is off duty. Woohoo! That is always nice to be able to put your feet up, right, Shannon? Thank you. I did use scraps for everything except my card bases. Like I said, I didn't wing it this time. I kind of I went through and pulled them out. And I planned tonight because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. Like I said, I was going to do some scrapbooking with the die set, and I just thought it's very hard sometimes to do scrapbooking live. So we're going to go ahead and put that down on our card base here, and thought it'd be fun to do this die. Like I said, tomorrow I will make sure I link anything that is available in stock or for restock notice in the description, and then I will also, if there's something similar, if something is sold out and something similar, I will make note of that. But other than the card bases, everything else was stock from my, my stash bucket over here. And where we go. So I hope your day makes a splash and you are the spring in my step. And I suppose, you know what? Did I glue this down enough? I'm gonna do it. Please don't break. I think it might be down a little bit too much. Yep, I was gonna move that over a little bit, but we're gonna leave it. I don't want it to tear. And move it over just a tiny bit. But thank you, Darren. Thank you for joining me tonight. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. What's your favorite thing about spring? Like I said, spring is coming. The barges went up the river towards Minnesota. So that's always a sign. Even though I'm supposed to get 9 inches of snow tomorrow. Thanks for joining me tonight. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can see anytime when somebody goes live or when we have videos out there. And remember to create your own ending. All right. Have a great night, guys. I will see you next week.